Covile. This is my interpersonal communication video. This is my audience. Men are from Mars, not from Venus. This is a slogan which in the last few years has been very popular and relevant, but what does it really mean? From the beginning of time with Adam and Eve to today's modern world, men and women rather think different, whether it's circumstance, clothes, sports, or even driving. It's clear that men and women are very different. I'm sure all of us have been in some type of relationship, whether personal or professional, and had major difficulties communicating with opposite sex. John Jackson, a local comedian on cleanjokes.com, once did an entire show on what men and women say and what they really mean. In his show, he explained the difference. It stated that when men say fine, they mean fine, and nothing's wrong typically means nothing's wrong. However, with women say fine, which means I'm right, and this argument is over, where nothing is calm before the storm, and really is something, and those arguments typically end in fine. According to Peter Simon of the New Yorker in his article, Communication, dated on March 11, 2010, to be intimate and closer, they think more is better when men are more action-oriented and less verbal. Because men and women are created differently, one would expect that the difference would span to all aspects of their lives. However, it's becoming more evident what separates men and women more than anything else is how to communicate. Today we're going to discuss verbal and nonverbal communication of women, verbal and nonverbal communication of men, and finally, how well they communicate with each other. In today's society, women are known to be very analytical and detail-oriented. This statement rings true in how much they communicate very well. John Gray, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, states that women communicate very well for several reasons. We will discuss 2 points today. To feel better and more centered when she is upset is one. When women look at communicating as a way to release the heavy weight off their shoulders, she has more to say. The second reason is to create intimacy. When women look at communicating as a way to share part of themselves, it's clear that women deem communication very important to their emotional existence, things that they talk, the more they are sharing. This thought works perfectly in a woman-dominated world, but in today's society, this is the very thing that separates how men and women communicate. Less is more. This is what the average man in America thinks. When men have problems, they are more action-oriented than verbal. The average man thinks women over-communicate. It is difficult for men to stay on one topic and to talk for an elongated period of time. Men like their communication to be quick and concise. Men tend to drift off subject when the subject or topic is longer than 15 minutes. Men talk for information purposes, not emotional. It has been proven that men typically do not favor talking in long periods of time nor listening, which is the biggest difference between how well men and women communicate. After reviewing the information, it is more clear that women and men communicate differently. According to Gary Chapman, the author of 5 Love Languages, understanding how the opposite sex communicate and being sensitive to it can be different between healthy and unhealthy relationships. Communication about how each other communicates and what certain nonverbal communication is important. These communication differences can cause major issues if both men and women are not aware. Communication rules, and that is clear, and it rules everyday relationships between men and women. When we do not understand the communication difference, women can be the demise of a relationship. But men understand that in a woman's communication is a way to invite you into their world, not hear herself talk, nag, aggravate, as most of us men think. Now for women, understanding that when he doesn't want to talk, it's just me, I don't want to let you in. Just that in my mind or his mind, talking does not fix it. Action does. According to Kukans, a blog, women grow up to talk as the thread of relationships are woven. They develop and maintain friendships by exchanging secrets and regarding talking as a cornerstone of friendships. Men bond as intensely as women but their friendships are based more on doing things together and don't require to talk to cement relationships. Understanding that women and men communicate differently is the first step on improving communication between the opposite sexes. It is also clear that women and men were created differently, and the way they communicate will never change. However, as weird as this sounds, the solution is to communicate to one another is just to communicate. Knowing the opposite sex communicates and how they communicate and what certain communication tactics mean will eliminate a lot of unnecessary arguments and misunderstandings. At the end of the day, it's okay to communicate differently, but what is needed is those to be more understanding.